Okay, we're back. How you guys doing? This is part three of our first 100 days review of President Trump's presidency so far, and trying to make you guys understand. I'm not trying to make you guys Trump fans or supporters of Trump or anything like that. I'm more trying to explain to you why it's not in your best interest to be anti-Trump the way that you are. You get what I'm saying? And look, guys, I'm planning on bringing some people on that are kind of intellects, or they call themselves intellect, Ivy Leagues and everything, and they talk a lot of shit online and stuff like that. And I would like for them to kind of come on to the podcast and we just have a spirited conversation about the topics, and we just say how we feel about it and see who can do the sporadic method of actually having substance to what comes out their mouth. Okay, that's, trust me, I got a lot of things I'm planning on doing and everything. Okay, so but my conversation to you guys about, I use like the Second Amendment to show you that if you actually look at the Second Amendment and you look at how it's been actually enacted and administrated in for the last, I would say, 100 years, you can see that we allow senators and congressmen to really take our constitutional rights away from us. Not just only the Second Amendment, I think all through it, it's been railroaded with statutes and laws. Statutes are laws, things that police officers kind of administrate upon us. Okay, so my big argument was in the last couple episodes of this first 100 days coverage that we did. I already did a part one and part two. This is the part three, and like I said, I got to do them all pretty much all through the day in order to kind of take you through the 100 days and certain stuff topic. I started off with kind of talking about Doge because in order for us to even talk about how the immigration policy is going, how the tariffs going, how racism, DEI, the executive orders, judges, the FBI, CIA, the intelligence agency, to even understand what freedom of speech is and how it plays and how much it's been railroaded and all that stuff. In order to talk to you guys about the Ukraine war, Russia, all that stuff, we need to have a conversation that we all need to have, and it's called, and that's efficiency. Okay, yeah. How do you even trust your thought process, your intelligence? What you even the pros and cons of your own personal life, if you don't know how to analyze why did you make this decision and why did you do this certain thing and how did it, what was the outcome of it. Okay, so we do certain things in our life. We pay for gas, we purchase food, we go on vacation, we do all kind of stuff in our lives. We have friends, we have family members, we have relationships, girlfriends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husbands, wives. We all make decisions, and those decisions need to wait on this outcome. So when you made the decision and what was the outcome of it, okay? Like me meeting this person, me joining with this person, me connecting with this person, what's the outcome of it? You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they kind of don't really know how to view the relationships that they have. They don't really know how to look at, like, okay, I've been with this person for 10 years, 20 years. What's the outcome of it? And I say, if you just now thinking about the outcome of somebody or a family member or a relationship or a marriage or something like that, 20 years later, your mental, you're almost pretty fucking dumb. And excuse my language, but I want to be really blunt about this. You get what I'm saying? You're really, really not a wise person You get what I'm saying? Life is about meeting people. You connect with people. You take a risk. Um, you say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. What do you think about it?" Okay, I'm going in it. I'm doing it. No matter what's the end results of it is, and the longevity of life, or if time expands and it goes into something, you kind of got to know, okay, no matter if it went in this direction, I kind of perceived that it was a possibility for it, and I was okay with the outcome of it. So whatever the outcome is now, I'm kind of all right with it. But I think majority people are kind of looking at their relationships, their connection to people, their jobs, their investments, and all that stuff, and they're kind of wondering, like, oh my God, I didn't, it's never, there was no conception that it would ever work out this way, that it would ever be this way. You know what I mean? And they kind of like really dumbfounded about like what happened through the journey and the outcome of it. you I'm using this as an example to say that when you meet a person, that's a human being. So part of the equation of shaking this person's hand or involving this person in your life or connected to this person in your life, part of the equation is all the things humans can possibly do. And all the things that humans can possibly do to you. It has to be an equation in your head to see the likelihood of a specific thing happening and working out. What's the most likely situation to work out or to happen in the relationship and everything. So no matter who I interact with, if it's actors to producers to crew members to assistants to family members to relationships and friends and family and colleagues and anything, I'm always equating knowing this person, knowing where they come from, knowing the behavior that they've been around or they kind of interact with, or what's their makeup, is a chance. It's a high percentile chance this is going to happen, or it's a possibility of this going to happen. So when stuff pops off, I'm never surprised by anything. I put precautions in just in case that happen. You disappointed with some things, but you kind of know it's a chance. It's really is a chance. You get what I'm saying? So overall, no matter what kind of time passes, 5 years pass, 10 years, 20 years, if it all passes and then you come to current moment 2025 and you look at the relationship and you look at the gives and takes and the pros and cons of a situation, you kind of say, you know what? That kind of went somewhat how I thought it would go, and I think it was overall it was a good outcome. You get what I'm saying? Or it was a perceived or pre-known, or let's say it was an outcome that was pretty close to what I would have perceived that would have been the outcome of that relationship. And the reason why I say this is because it's all dealing in how efficient is your relationships, how efficient is your understanding of your relationships or the interactions that you are having or the decisions you are making. What's the efficiency rate that things are pretty much what you thought it would be, or the outcome of it is pretty much what it was perceived to be. And that's how your system, who you are, your intellect is understanding the efficiency of your life and your decision making. That's how we got to know about our government. Not today. We should have been doing this when we came out of college, or when we at high school level, going into like college and coming to college into our adult years. We have been told by a bunch of social influencer, podcasters, rich people that's all kind of boisterous conversations, motivational speaking, parents and friends, all kind of people. We've been told that politics and religion is something you don't really conversate about. You keep that muted. You don't really talk about it a lot because it's such a divide. Why is it a divide? Because it's vital. It's a divide because it's vital. It's literally like can make or break you. That's why the divide, that's why it's such a poignant situation in conversation with people. It's that vital. So I say, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, I don't care if it's Christmas, I don't care if it's like whatever. I don't care if you like mess up like a sexual encounter you're gonna have. I don't care what the situation is. You need to always, if it's somebody that plays a factor to you in substance or that will be part of your life or part of your decision making or part of your business or part of whatever, you oh, wow, sorry about that. I yanked on my earpiece, so sorry about that, guys. You need to, let me say that again. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's people in relationships with you. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's your business partners. I don't care what it is. If it becomes part of the operation of what you're doing or the decision making in your situation, if those people becomes part of that, you need to know how they move. Because how they move is going to play a factor to decisions and moves on the chess piece, on the chessboard that you may need to make for your family, for your household, for your company, for decisions of growth, of strategic analyzation of what should be done and what shouldn't be done in a specific decision making. It all plays a factor to what's your religion and what's your actual your politics and stuff. Now, what I mean by that is you can't, like, for me, I worked my whole life and I felt it was really kind of good to kind of bring in money to the house, and people respect you when you get a job and you bringing in money and you kind of you're contributing to the cost of living. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if you're a kid all the way up until adult years. I found that you're more respected as a human being when you could contribute. You get what I'm saying? So knowing that, I'm kind of straightening up this. Excuse me, I'm kind of doing little technical things here. Sorry, but knowing that you're kind of respected to how much you can contribute to life or the existence of life and everything, and in that decision making, you're it's very black and white. What have you done for me lately? That's what our society is. That's what you find out that your interaction is with most people is what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? And in that situation, you're kind of figuring out, okay, you're judged to that situation. And if I'm a person in a relationship with somebody, or like, let's say in the decision making of it, and I say, okay, hey, y'all, we need to put ourselves in a place where we can get investors to invest in what we're doing, and at the same time put some operation costs and bring some people in that's making assets funds, and they got to pay their taxes anyway. So if we could get them to put some of their tax money into the up mobility of our company, of what we're doing, and that will give them a capital gain write-off and tax. It's an even exchange, okay? So we need to be able to understand that our people in support of policies are like literally the people that's running the company, or even like me and my household and stuff. Am I for people that are voting for someone that's for capital gain tax incentives, or minority investment tax incentives or what they call what they call that Tim Scott put it into law. The urban development, or I can't remember what they call it, but I forgot it. Tim Scott put a law into place where it puts money into the inner city. It puts money into the hands of low income people, or not low income people, more to people that don't really have access to like entrepreneur investments or investors and stuff like that. And it put a certain amount of money from government into the up mobility of an entrepreneur that's coming out of the city and everything like that. Is opportunity zones. That's the name of it. Opportunity zone tax incentive. So what I'm trying to say, there are tax codes that are being shepherded by political parties. Now, Democrats are against a lot of tax codes from that would help you get investors to see how they're going to get their money back. Investors, billionaires, millionaires, all they want you to do is somewhat tell them, how can I make this a positive transaction for me? You get what I'm saying? If I give you 10,000, if I give you 100,000, if I give you $250,000 to start your company or have your company efficiency moving and running and stuff, and get some operation costs under your belt so you can actually put this idea or this entrepreneur endeavor into action, that's good for you. But like, just tell me how this works out for me, that I can even look at it as a decent idea or as logical thing to do. You get what I'm saying? And you're only going to get that from tax codes, because you got to start off there. Tax codes that are favorable for rich people to take chances on new upstart people. Okay? So can they write it off as a capital gains in hopes to be a capital gains, instead of just throwing the money away to just pay that 40 to 30 to 20% in taxes that you're giving it to the IRS anyway? But if the IRS has a tax code to say, hey, take a chance on somebody and you could kind of get this money back in capital gains, but at the same time you could claim it so you don't have to give it to us, you can give it to them, and you either you could, if that company flourish or make some positivity in the investment or the actual endeavor that they're taking on, then not only did you not have to give it to us, but you also could claim it as capital gains, because you're getting a return in that investment. And we say thank you for putting another person in the tax code to allow for us to get generate some kind of tax from this person, but it wouldn't been able to be in existence if it wasn't for your investment. So that's why capital gains, with the money that you gain from this person that been a success, we're not going to try to tax that. That's what. So at bare minimum, that's what an investor should look at. You get what I'm saying? They lawyers should tell them how to claim it or how to get some kind of balance out of it or something like that. But at the same time, if you got to communicate it, that's the basic that you should get from that investor should kind of come in on your endeavor, okay? But the reason why I say that is because a policy like that is Republican. You get what I'm saying? It's a Republican bill, because we really only got two political parties in this country: Democrat Party and Republican Party. Democrat Party, Republican Party, Republican Party, Democrat Party, okay? So everything else is just noise. It's just, it's almost mental illness. Independents are mental illness. Most people say, oh, I'm an independent because sometimes I go to the Republicans and sometimes I go to the Democrats. Really, that's them trying to be like, I don't know, witty or something, or but really, majority of the way that they think is either liberal, Democrat, or is conservative, Republican, and that's pretty much how they're voting. You get what I'm saying? So to say that you're independent is it's a low IQ thing. really. I know I'm insulting some people that I actually like, and people that I look up to and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, if you call yourself an independent, I don't think you should call yourself a Republican. I don't think you should call yourself a Democrat. I think you should call yourself a voter, because you're an American citizen. You're a voter. You know what I mean? But like the Democrats and the Republicans, they're more of a government employee or government entity than there's something that belongs to the people. You know what I mean? Because there's no way we will allow the Republicans to be innocent bystanders to the destruction of this country like they've been for the last 50 years. They really stood by since Ronald Reagan, man. Republicans stood by and just watched this country get destroyed. Watch American citizens' rights get destroyed. The battery that we put in the backs of the CIA, our intelligence agency, and letting the FBI just run amok like what they've been doing for the last, oh my God, just the last 10, 12 years is un it's it's unforgivable. It really is. But I'll get more into that. That's more down the road, okay? The reason why I'm bringing up these personal kind of analyzation of how you should look at how you move in your life and the efficiency of the operation of how you deal with stuff and the decisions that you make and how the outcome of it will be is why we got to start with Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Why? Listen to that. Department of Government Efficiency, meaning that there has been, and if you understand government, I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, if you understand government, there has been no accountability for almost 100 years. No accountability. It's been way over our heads. It's been where if you're not a senator or you're not a congressman, then we don't really want your opinion. You better just listen to what we tell you is going on in government. But one of the things that happened, thanks to Steve Jobs, only Steve Jobs, y'all. I keep telling people, you guys want to give props to not Elon Musk, but to Google and all that stuff like that, and Microsoft. They're pretty much they're almost like they're specks and they're kind of particles or they're offsprings of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs in 1978, he was kind of building him and his he had an engineer gentleman that he was dealing with in college that he pulled out of college, and they came up with the first Mac in I think 1978. Okay, that computer, to put that computer together, Microsoft was a nothing company that was kind of had the ability to make an operation system and operation software, and they were nothing, and Apple was mega, like a big mega thing, and Steve Jobs got Bill Gates to make a software for their operating system on the Mac. So Mac is a computer, and its operating system is the Mac OS. Okay, they hired Microsoft to make processing software like Microsoft Words, Microsoft Office. That's where that came from. That's where it came in. It came into into existence. With they made Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoints for the Mac. That's the first existence of it. Once Apple gave Mac their operating system, because in order to code the actual Microsoft Office and Microsoft Excel and the Microsoft PowerPoint for the actual Mac system, they had to turn over the operating system in the computer. Bill Gates built Microsoft Office, built Microsoft Excel, built Microsoft PowerPoint, brought it into existence for this Mac. Then, behind Mac's back, they took that operating system and they took the functionality of how Mac had made the operating system work, and they developed their own operating system called Windows. That's how Windows came into play. When Steve Jobs did iOS software for the iPhone, Google stole it because one of the board members was a Google actual chair member, okay? Or Google, literally the owner of Google, pretty much, and the boss of Google was one of Apple's board members in early 2000 when they built the iOS. They stole it and made Android. So now everything that you see about this world, everything that made this world very functional, the App Store, all that stuff, they stole it from Steve Jobs, Apple, the creator of everything great about Apple. Even the editing, how we edit movies now, all comes from Final Cut Pro, what Steve Jobs made for Apple, developed for Apple, where he made his staff and everybody develop for Apple. The whole world has to give thanks to Steve Jobs. That's how big it is. And the only reason why I mention that is to say that the efficiency of our government, the only way you can understand how our government works, you have to know, in order to make a government efficient, to have a Department of Government Efficiency, in order for that actual department to be functional, it has to be efficient of the data, efficient of the operation of government. That's the only way. The only way you can be efficient of the operation of government, you need to know every single nuance, every single data point of how the government works. So when people say, oh, we don't want Elon Musk and his people to see all that data, they have to. They have to see that data. And you got conservatives, you got piece of shit podcasters, and I'm you know who I'm talking to. You got a bunch of people out there talking about, oh, I don't like that Elon Musk would. Is Elon Musk running Trump? Hey, come on, y'all. That's a talking point of corruption that you have in your head. Anything about Trump seems like he's been ran by somebody. Like really. Like him almost getting his kids put in jail to fight for this country. That don't tell you how independent he is from anybody, from any donor, any rich billionaire. That don't show you that. Him almost getting his life and his company torn to bits by like lawyers and attorney generals and the FBI and the government and everybody, like him, like been a sacrificial lamb for Americans and their rights. Before, we didn't know if you was to really go against the government, if you were somebody of substance and you needed to fight the government, and they come with everything, the highest IQ, the highest effectiveness. If they come with the CIA, if they come with the NSA, if they come with the FBI, if they come with the attorney generals, the DOJ, if they come full-throated with $1 trillion behind them to take you out, how much would it be for an American citizen to stand up to the government and to be efficient through it? Now we know it's about $1 billion now. Why? Because that's what Trump had to spend to get to be alive right now, to be fighting right now. So now we kind of know the data now. We kind of know pretty much if you're really going to take on, you need to be able to have hundreds of lawyers scattered all through the country, or taking things up to the Supreme Court and fighting, paying fines and all kind of stuff. How much do you need to have to be efficient and protect yourself from the dysfunction and shadiness of our government, American government? Is $1 billion. We didn't know this stuff before Trump. We didn't know how corrupt our government was before Trump. You had an idea of it. It was all theory that everybody put in movies and John and what's his name, Clancy novels and stuff, and James Patterson novels and stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of theories of like internal government espionage things that it does and what it does to the people. But it was all theory until Trump. Now we know everything. Everything. You know what I mean? I don't want to go too deep into everything, but at the same time, this is now is for the first time we were going to have an actual department of like that can actually take on all situations that might come up. What's the situations that may come up in government? That we have a mountain. I forgot what every year it was in, but it's a mountain that we actually put when the government has employees that need to retire. They sign, a government employee signs a document to say, I want to retire. They take that document and they actually do a paper administration of it. In the actual archives is in the side of a mountain in literally in file cabinets and stuff. So we hire about 3 to 4 million government employees. That's military people. That's CIA. That's FBI. That's DEA. All the departments. Every single department. The education department. Everybody. When you total up all the actual employees that work for our government, it's about 4 million people. In order to get those 4 million people through the retirement process, it takes them 6 months to a year to retire, to get their paperwork through that process. Why? It's not computerized. You think these people, come on. We got iPhones and we got all kind of crazy stuff. We AI and everything like that. Why do they not have that efficiently through the structure of our government? Why? Why is it not computerized? Why is it not safely encrypted, computerized? Why is it not like that? Why do the employees of the government, in order for them to retire, it needs to go through a paper process? Why is it like that? This is how they make sure that they can replace in time. So if a lot of government employees retire or they take a buyout, it's giving them enough time to replace them and put that many people back into government. The government actually, and I really believe now that I see a lot of stuff was going on with the Elon Musk and Doge and stuff, the Department of Government Efficiency, how they went against that. I will actually say that a lot of our Fortune 500 companies actually want it to be 4 million government employees. They actually pay money with lobbyists and stuff to keep those 4 million people in government. I need you guys to understand, it's pathetic and insulting and counterproductive for us to have 4 million government employees. I don't care what they do. Number one company in this world, actually the top 3 companies in this world, is Apple, ExxonMobil, and Google. Go look up how many employees they have total. Walmart has 1 million employees, and I think they're the highest employment of an actual company, a private company that's in our country. And for our government to be 3 to 4 times the amount of the highest employed government. I want to be really, really clear about this because it's all in my head and I got to communicate very slowly to you guys in this situation. For our government to have more employees than the top 5, top 10 employment companies in this country is crazy. Meaning that if Walmart has 1 million employees to do the operation of Walmart throughout the whole country, and our government has 4 million employees, that ain't good, y'all. It was never meant to be like that. Never meant to be like that. I'll say, do some work, y'all. Do some work. Do some work. You pay a Walmart employee from $15 to $33 to $35 to $37 if they really getting it. You get what I'm saying? To the managers and everything, they're probably making about $75. You get what I'm saying? $75 an hour or something like that to get them a nice $158,000 check. That's pretty high up there. I'm sure some Walmart employees that get paid millions a year. You get what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that like the majority of their staff will be getting paid that amount. Okay? And you add that all up and maybe they're doing about 2 to 3 million in payment of the employees and stuff to their whole company. And that's for millions of people, millions of employees. They're doing about $2 to $3 billion to pay their employees every year. But for every year to pay our government employees, the 4 million people that work for the government, I don't care what your job is. I don't care. I don't care if you're a soldier, all the way up to like a senator, congressman. To pay these people and their staff and everything. And we need our soldiers. We need our firefighters. We need people that we may have to consider giving salaries to and payment to, because what they're doing is we gotta have that. We gotta have people out there on the in the Red Sea monitoring what's going on at our borders. What's going on around us, what's our enemies doing and stuff like that. You gotta have that. You gotta have that. People in different countries holding down the line, kind of making sure that intel is traded and all that stuff. I'm not saying that we don't have to have that, but all those employees are not military and not intelligence agencies, not a law enforcement and all that stuff. Some of these people are redundant, and they just picking up a check because in order to have a decent economy from how much we just gave our whole country. We literally, to tell you guys the truth, everybody talking about, the American economy is strong. American economy ain't been strong since 1980s. Another Ronald Reagan dumbass decision. You get what I'm saying? Where we kind of gave so much power to China. And we literally been behind the 8 ball every single year ever since. And we're a shell of ourselves. And because we consume so much, that's our only leverage. Our only leverage is that we do something with each other in this country, that we pay each other. Hey, cut my grass and I'll give you $10. And okay, fix my sink and I'll give you $20. And do my house shingles or the roof on my house and I'll pay you $10,000-$20,000. The barter trade of the most necessity things of our country is how we make money and how we trade funds and money from each other's hands. And in the midst of doing that, we're kind of like saying, hey, I got to take a break. I need to go to Arby's. I need to go to Walmart. I need to go to Chick-fil-A. I need to go to Burger King. I need to go to Five Guys. I need to go, and we go eat there. So now they got to build a Five Guys, and they got to build a restaurant for us to go eat at and for us to go shop at to spend the money that we did this person's shingles and they roof and they built their house with. And the barter trade of that, then now we need to go purchase some toys for our kids. We need to purchase some blue jeans. But guess what? We don't do blue jeans in America. We don't manufacture blue jeans. We don't manufacture toys. We don't manufacture we don't even manufacture our medication. Literally something that we put in our body. We allow our enemies to make our medicine, a Tylenol. Okay, this is and maybe not Tylenol, but don't even have me go look this stuff up. But our medications that's vital for us is not even made in America. So we putting stuff in our body, it's mixing with our blood cells, and we outsource that. Now to find out that for all our military, our tanks and our ships and our weaponry and stuff, our rocket, our missiles and stuff, we actually outsource the metal that we use to other countries for that. We've done some of the most self-destructive, pathetic, stupid, intellectually things to ourselves as a country. And these are the people that's supposed to be smarter than you. They like you giving a senator $270,000 a year. You're giving a congressman $180,000 a year. You're giving a president $400,000 to $500,000 a year. You're giving like different department heads of in administration cohorts or people, pretty much employees of our government. You're giving them $200,000, $300,000, $500,000. Even like Fauci, the head of the CDC, he was getting paid more than even the president was. And you don't want to know the data behind that? You don't want that data to be communicated right now while we got the chance. Democrats they're never going to want to know what the numbers look like and put it into data points and put it into a document and put it into a booklet that the American people can say, this is how every dollar you sent to America in the last 100 years was spent. This is the first time and the only time we're going to be able to have that happen with the Department of Government Efficiency. And what the hell did y'all do for the last 3 months? You're dumb. You're ignorant. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry if you don't like my opinion on this. It is what it is. We're talking human, y'all. This is what this podcast is about. Let's talk human. You're fools. And you got people saying, "Well, we don't want the chances of Elon Musk to put that in his AI system or collect our data and stuff like that." That's stupid to even say that because he's under documents and he's under a lot of stuff that take his billions away from him and put him in jail and stuff and destroy his life. But besides that, we've been doing this without any kind of way to even see this document. I don't care what it costs. I don't care if we start to scratch. Like I keep telling everybody, you got to throw away the FBI. You got to throw away all that stuff in order to make it right. Why? Because even the lower tier employees and the people on the ground, their job is to make sure that their boss get investigated if they do something crooked. That's what FBI agents' job is. That's their number one mandate. Their number one mandate is they are the investigators against government, against the people. So if you know that a government, like an FBI agent or FBI department head or the actual the different branches of government is doing crooked stuff against one citizen, let alone all citizens or a lot of citizens, if they doing one thing against citizens, the mandate of the FBI is to investigate any corruption, whistleblower, any corruption. They're the first line of defense against us not knowing how crooked our government is. Not the media, not the news. It's the FBI. But because the FBI is ran under the executive branch, it gets corrupted, and it's in partisan lines now. And now that we put people in there, that's supposed to be like everybody was seeing. It's so funny because you get people like Jesus, what's his name? I can't. I'm drawing a blank right now. Patel. He was running his mouth saying a lot of wild stuff and showing that he's really for individual freedoms and individual rights. He gets the FBI title and he brings Dan Bongino in there. And what have they done? What have they done? Try to preserve the FBI. I'm not saying they should destroy the FBI. You're there now. You guys can course correct a lot of stuff now. You can go through the department. You can go through the different employees. You can see how other agents turned their head to information that they had that was corrupt and all that stuff. And you guys can attack all that stuff. So we don't need you to destroy the FBI. We don't need you to destroy the different intelligence agency and stuff. But you got to be able to put it on the table to say, this is illegal, this was against the law, and this is what was been done under these things. But what we trying to, but what is their first mandate is to do whatever it takes to preserve the perception of the FBI being able to be repaired. And so they hiding stuff. They keeping stuff dormant and keeping it in the background and being part of the problem now. I don't care about the stuff that they're releasing. It's stuff that we know they did. We know they had eyes on. We know they had hands on. That they need to attack. And what are they doing? They've been innocent bystanders, and they trying to, oh man, that's messed up. It's worse than we thought. We got to find some way not to release this. We got to find some way to kind of give a little bone to Steve Bannon and all the crazy Republicans. We got to throw them a little bone, but we got to suppress this. We can't get this out there. Part of the problem. I bring all this stuff up because it's in the conversation of Department of Government and Efficiency. Okay? And the only way that we can ever have any credibility of the government being efficient is we got to see everything. You got Fox News and you got everybody saying, oh, Elon Musk is only able to save about $150 billion, and he said that he was going to be able to save $2 trillion. How the hell is he going to actually find a way to, and technically, I don't know what happened to the administration, and Trump, I gotta blame you for this, and I gotta blame, it's the sad part about it, I gotta blame a lot of the people that we looked up to, because the truth of the matter is, the Doge was supposed to go in, do their work. They were supposed to do it all the way to next year, 2026, in July, before July 4th, before the 50th birthday, the 250th birthday of America. They were supposed to come in, they were supposed to look at the data, go at the data, and they were supposed to do all kind of data points and reportings and building up a actual effective report in different things that need to be done to actually administrate. And they could have done that from now until when they go, but the technical thing was they were supposed to do all that work leading up to next year, July 4th, because that would have been, hey, this is what's wrong with our country, and that we know what's wrong in our country. We will repair it for another 200. We will make sure that our country is sovereign and justifiably freedom to the people and operating on the behalf of the American people for the next 250 years. That's how it was supposed to be. It was never supposed to be in 100 days we're gonna solve government. You can't. Why? Because you got judges and you got senators and you got congressmen, and most of all you have judges actually impeding in the function of operation of the government. And that's a sole custody of the president. So You got judges in different cities, in different states, making presidential decisions for the whole country in injunctions and stuff like this. And we sitting here acting like this is okay? Ridiculous. So, you want to know where your money is? You want to know all the money that's been spent? And the only way you can see what the money that's been spent is you got to see where did it get transferred to? You got to see the accounts of every dollar that the government sent out. Not the count of people, but the actual saying this serial number, this actual transaction number exported this amount of money to this person, to this address, to this function. That's in judges and senators and congressmen, Republicans and Democrats actually stopped Trump, the executive branch, from having a department under the executive branch on the behalf of the command of the president and the commander-in-chief, the operation of executive branch, stop him from actually doing checks and balances on every dollar extended out to the out of Treasury, out of pretty much the bank account of America. Shady. So I bring it back. There's no way we could talk about tariffs and you understand that unless I just talked about what I just talked about in these last 3 episodes. I went to about 51 minutes on this one, so I need to stop and do the next one. I'm trying not to let this go 2 hours, 3 hours in one clip and stuff like that. But I'll wrap this up by saying, and we're going to go, and the next thing we're going to go into is the different policies and different stuff for the last 100 days and everything that Trump did and what kind of situations happened in the midst of him implementing those things. But I wanted to kind of use these last 3 episodes, I could say, to kind of communicate to you guys like what you're not seeing, what's not been communicated, and how it actually affects you. We are spending trillions, hundreds of billions of dollars on inefficient things and things that are not what you sent your money to the actual government for. I don't care if you're rich and you're sending taxes and stuff like that to government and the IRS and all that stuff like that. When you see what it's getting used for, I'm pretty sure, I don't care how much a Republican or a conservative or like a rich, wealthy person don't want their money to be just given away to different American citizens. You absolutely want your dollars given to American citizens before you give it to Ukraine. I'm pretty sure you want your money. I don't care how much they taking from your wealthy checks, all the millionaires, all the billionaires, all the people that making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and then your money go into the IRS, and then the IRS sends it to Treasury, and then the Treasury sends it to Ukraine, send it to Iraq, send it to Afghanistan, send it to South Korea, send it to Israel, send it to illegal immigrants, put illegal immigrants into business and all the other stuff like that, and buy them houses, buy them cars, and hook them up. And you got American citizens that's been America since birth, that they descendants, 2 generations descended from an American citizen, and their faces to the ground, and they're losing their houses. They're committing suicide because financially they can't take it no more, and they can't get any assistance from their own government and stuff. You're rich, billionaires, millionaires, 100,000aires. You do want your money. If it's gonna get wasted, waste it on American citizens. So that's why I say it's ridiculous for any of you guys to allow your money to go to the IRS, allow your money to go to the Treasury, and you don't say, hey, at least take the money and pay off people's debt. Pay the $1.1 trillion in credit card and loan debt. Pay the $1 trillion in school debt. I'd rather you pay it on that than send it out this country and send it for people that ain't citizens. See you guys in the next episode. Well, the next part 4.